Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the check-in. And give me 1 second before we actually get started. I would like to say the check-in is what it sounds like. It's a check-in. This is a men's mental health show. There's going to be some harsh language. There'll probably be harsh language. We're not here to offend anyone. We're not here to harm anyone. Not here to make anybody feel bad. We're here to help. I myself am on a journey, so I know how difficult these things can be. So it's important. So if you dream of butterflies and rainbows and running through cotton candy fields, this is probably not for you. Although I would recommend that you stay and you watch and you listen. But if you're easily offended and you live with your emotions on your sleeve, I would still recommend that you stay. But I would say go to another page. Go watch something else. This is probably not for you. But again, I would want you to stay as opposed to leaving. With that being said, this is the check-in. And I want to say a few things before we actually get started. Big shout out to all of our new subscribers. And so with all the people that are new to the channel, this is a show that we do every Sunday. This is a mental health show. So it's every Sunday at 8:30. And we talk about a lot of different things. And that is like the name of the show. It's the check-in because it's a safe place to be able to come in, talk, discuss things that are bothering you, things that you may be struggling with, either be addiction or whatever. But by the way, we are not therapists, we are not counselors, but we are people who are on a journey and to be a better person, to behave better, to treat people better, just being better, you know what I mean, at self, no more, no less. Because I believe that when you're being better with yourself, you be better with other people. And when you're better with yourself, you're aware of your behaviors, you're aware of everything that you do. Accountability is there, responsibility is there. All of those things are in place. So for all of the people that are new to the channel, this is one of the shows, but I feel like one of the most important shows on the channel, period. And so, yeah, let's get right to it. This is the check-in. And if you want to be a part of the show, if something is bothering you, if you're having a tough day, a fucked up day, whatever the case may be, the link we'll put in the description. In the chat. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. You can be involved in the chats, or you can just listen. Or if you want to talk and you want to be heard, this is the space for it. And it is a safe space. This is a safe space to talk about things that are troubling you. If you want to be your anonymity, you don't have to show your face. Again, this is a safe space. So today I wanted to talk about being self-aware because I feel like it's one of the most important things along with accountability, because I can't stress how much accountability is a big part of being better or feeling better or anything that is building yourself. Being self-aware is extremely important. Accountability is shit at the utmost. Accountability is at the utmost. And a lot of people think that they understand what accountability is. And I, from my own experience when talking to people, they just don't get what accountability is. Accountability to a lot of people feels like to them or sounds like to them, oh, I'm sorry, and that's it. Or, oh, I know it was wrong and I apologize, and that's it. And accountability is a lot more than just saying I'm sorry or apologizing for something that you did or you said. I mean, that's a piece of it, but there's a lot more to it. But I only brought that up because I feel like it's one of the most important parts of any wellness or any mental health, as far as like taking the first steps. Myself personally, I think you have to hold yourself accountable to things, and all of that is part of being self-aware. And I like to stress again, like everybody has a different journey. Everybody's journey smells, tastes different. I don't know. I know what mine has been like, and I know how much even the show itself, how it helped me within my journey and within my just wanting to be better and dealing with traumas from childhood trauma, PTSD, just fuck, you name it, alcoholism, you name it. I've been pretty much been through it, and this show has helped me a lot to not only understand myself, but understand others, understand my behaviors. Again, understanding my traumas, how to deal with them, and a big part of that is becoming self-aware. And self-aware is understanding oneself, including one's thoughts, feelings, and actions. It involves recognizing how one's internal state impacts their behavior and how others perceive them. Self-aware individuals can objectively uh, assess themselves, manage their emotions, and align their behavior with their values. That's a fucking lot. That's a fucking lot. And I know it's a lot because I know in the very beginning of my journey, being self aware, I thought I was. I was like, man, I know what I'm doing. I know what the fuck. I know who I am. Truth is, I had no understanding of my behavior and how to assess my behavior and how to just understand who I am and how people perceive me, you know. And I think that, like, once I kind of got into that part of it, it really fucked me up. It really fucked me up. It really had me thinking about everything, all of the decisions that I've made before in the past, the people that I have encountered, the people that I've dealt with, and just my behavior with all of them. How I walked, how I talked, how I addressed people, everything. And being self-aware is like just such a huge thing to me, and I thought it would be really important to talk about that. Understanding thoughts and feelings, recognizing your own emotional state and how it influences your behavior is crucial. Man, if I know I'm pissed off, I need to take a minute. You know what I mean? If I'm upset, I need a fucking minute. This is one thing I've learned about me. I can't be in that moment like that. I can't be in that moment upset like that. I have not yet mastered it. Shout out to DJ Ace Vito, man. Salute to you, brother. Thank you for stopping. Um, I can't be in that moment like that. Not yet. I have to remove myself. I have to remove myself, take a deep breath. And again, this goes back to assessment. I got to assess that shit because I'm really not I work on it every day, but I'm really not in that space like 100%. Like, oh, I'm able to just see something happening and get upset and then, oh, I'm cool with it. No, I'm not really cool with a lot of shit, but it's something that I've learned. So understanding my thoughts and understanding my feelings is a big thing. It's a big thing, a huge thing for me. Yeah, recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses, knowing your capabilities and limitations allows for more effective self-improvement. Yeah, that's another one. That's another big one. Some of us think we're dope at everything, and we're really fucking not. Some of us think that we are stronger and everything, strong in everything. No one really wants to like really admit their weaknesses or understand their weaknesses, and that's a big one too, because that's kind of like setting pride aside, and that's a tough one to do as well. Um, understanding how other people perceive you, Jesus. Being able to see yourself through others' eyes can help you navigate social situations and build stronger relationships. Yeah. Trying to see yourself through other people's eyes. That's a big one. Shit, all of this shit is big. Um, I think like seeing myself through other people's eyes has been another big one for me. Like, because what I thought, especially before I got on this journey, I thought people saw me a certain way, and I was wrong. I was wrong like a motherfucker. I was completely wrong. Not all the time, but I was wrong. Certain people. Well, you know what? Fuck that. I was wrong 100% of the time. But I'm more confident nowadays in how people perceive me because of even recognizing my strengths and my weaknesses, like we talked about earlier, and understanding thoughts and feelings. So I think I have a better grip on how people perceive me because of the way that I carry myself and the things that I say and the things that I do. Also, that's like processing things before I react instead of having that knee jerk reaction. I'll process that shit. And that shit only takes a second, but it is a work. It is a work in progress that you have to be committed to doing every single day. And I think and I feel like that, it's tough, especially for men. Um, we've been trained in life for so long to have up this like what we're supposed to be, this emotionally fucking tough brick wall of no feelings and not to show any emotion, and just I don't know, just kind of muscle through everything, and that shit is not good. That shit is not good. Not only that, but there is a shame or something attached to that as well. Like, oh, if I talk to somebody about my feelings, I'm going to be perceived as weak or something. And let me tell you, man, the amount of strength that it takes to be in touch emotionally, to have emotional intelligence, the amount of strength it takes to do that, I couldn't tell you. And the courage that it takes to do that, it's enormous. It's extremely enormous. And and besides that, if somebody thinks you're weak for feeling something and having an emotional response to something, or having an emotional response to pain, having mental pain or trauma, or things are happening to you, they they probably need fucking help. Not gonna lie, they probably need fucking help. Um, Once again, shout out to everybody that are new to the channel. They're probably looking at this right now and like, what the hell is this? But this is the check-in. I like to call it a mental health show. Um, it's a journey show. I don't know what to really call it. I call it a mental health show, but it's really about growing and within yourself, being a better person, um, being better to yourself, and being better to those you love and care about. And you don't even have to love and care about somebody to be better to them. But that's what this show is about. We have a multitude of shows on this channel every day of the week, all different shows, but this one in particular uh, is very special to me and holds a place for me because this show has helped me on my journey to be a better person with friends, family, and even people I meet. So this show is fucking very important, you know. And again, if you're just tuning in, uh, there's going to be harsh words, but we're not here to offend anyone or upset anybody, hurt anybody, anything like that. As a matter of fact, we're doing the complete opposite over here, and that is to help people understand some things with the best of our ability. I am not a therapist, a licensed therapist, or a therapist for that matter, or counselor or therapist. I mean, I said therapist or psychiatrist. I'm just a guy who's on a damn journey and doing everything I can to make myself a better person. And it's working. And it's working because about a year ago, I wouldn't have been saying this kind of shit. So it works. It really works. It's just extremely difficult. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of restraint. Shit, it takes a lot of everything. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. And what we're talking about is being self-aware, because being self-aware is one of the biggest parts of this whole journey. Self-reflection, regularly examining your thoughts, feelings, and actions to gain insight and make adjustments. Whoo, another big one. All of these are big ones, because self-reflection is not, I mean, like, a lot of people think that, like, well, I'm just sitting around the house chilling, thinking about stuff. No, you have to really reflect, on your thoughts and your feelings. And if I get upset, that's why I said earlier when we talked about understanding thoughts and feelings, like, I struggle with that a lot, because again, if I get upset in that moment, I've been learning how to deal with that and how to process that. I'm not that damn good at it yet. So I understand self-reflection. So I do take that time, especially in those kinds of moments, to pull myself up out of that, or do my best to, and reflect on that, my thoughts and my feelings about how I felt in that situation. So I do take a lot of time within myself. Some people should use meditation. I guess you could call it meditation, because I take the time out uh, at least a couple of times a day to think and reflect on my feelings about anything that has happened. It'd be that day, that moment, or yesterday, day before. Reflect on them, uh, and make adjustments, and understanding, like, where I fucked up, or I feel like I fucked up, and where I feel like I can better uh, make better choices, uh, make better moves as far as, like, how I respond. So that reflection is key. It's super key. Still very difficult, just like the rest of this shit. Very, very, very difficult, but not unobtainable. It's not something you can't do. It's something you can 100% do. You have to commit to yourself. That's really what it is. Committing to yourself. Committing to yourself to be better. It's just like committing to go to the gym and work out. It's like committing to a diet. But actually, uh, uh, being healthy and being mentally healthy encompasses all of that. Taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's all of those things, but it still takes that same type of tenacity. You still have to get in there, and you have to get the job done, and you have to be diligent. You can't slack, because it's easy to fall back into um, old behaviors. It's easy to fall into bullshit. It's easy. It's easy. It's even easier to quit. It's even easier to quit, and that's a very important thing, to not quit, and to keep that in the forefront of your mind, because the things that are gained from it completely outweigh everything. Like, I haven't felt this good about me all my life, all my fucking life. And so now when I think about life, and I think about friends, family, and even meeting people, I think about how much better I feel about all of it. I think about how much better I feel about myself, and engaging with family members, and even those that I know are fucked up, and even the ones that I know that ain't in the right mind, being able to not only just be in the moment with them, but talk to them, without getting pulled into any negativity or anything, and even possibly, if lucky enough, to pull them out of some negativity and some fucked up stinking thinking, or whatever in the hell you want to call it. But it's important, uh, and that brings me to this one right here: mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment without judgment, can increase self-awareness. I say that shit all the time. Be in the moment. Be in the moment. Be aware. Like, when I quit drinking, I had no idea how much I didn't pay attention to shit. I had no idea how much my ass was not in the moment. Oh, I was in the moment of drinking. I was in the moment of fucking drinking the shit out of some alcohol, but I was never in the moment. Never in the moment. And things were always being said to me. Things were always being done right around me. And I just wasn't paying attention. I wasn't there. And because the drinking itself was an escape. The drinking, like I say it all the time, I drank to get fucking blackout drunk. I didn't drink to be social. Fuck being social. I drank to get completely fucked up. So when I quit drinking, now I'm just like wide awake and I'm just like looking around like, what the fuck? And people are saying things to me. I'm catching shit. And then again, this is like before I had even really, really started walking down this road, this journey, and really putting myself in it. I I was hearing shit, and everything was pissing me off. Everything was upsetting me because now I'm hearing what people are saying about me, and now I'm hearing people that are saying things to my face, like I like it felt like I was not even there. It's like, how could a motherfucker say this to me right in my face? But then this goes back to perception, how they perceived me to be, how they perceived that I would fucking respond, how they all of that, which was the stuff we talked about earlier. And that shit fucked me up. It fucked me up. But now when I think about things where I'm in that moment, when I'm in the moment, I'm also processing the hell out of everything. And it allows me a moment, like it's just that millisecond or the couple of seconds to process the shit before I have this weird knee-jerk reaction to somebody saying something or something upsetting me or being triggered by something. Because another thing that I learned, that I was dealing with anxiety and PTSD on a crazy level, uh, pretty much all my life, and I was in what do they call that? What is, not self preservation, but goddamn, I was like protection safety mode, like 24/7, like everything was gonna, I had to fight, like everything was a fight, not just physically, but everything was a fight. Like, I'm not gonna let this happen to me, I'm not gonna let this person near me, I'm not gonna let this person in here or here, I'm not gonna do any of that shit. I was in like a whole like, fuck this shit, I'm protecting myself from everything. But doing that, while doing that and being in that and not being in the moment, it we got D Nick. Oh, my man's D Nick in the building.
Hey,
Not being, hey,
blessings,
blessings,
man.
man.
Blessings,
Blessings,
Heat.
Heat.
How you
How you
doing?
doing? Man, I'm good, man. There you are. There you are. What's good, my guy?
I'm
I'm
good,
good,
man.
man.
I'm
I'm
good.
good.
You
You
know,
know,
no
no
complaints, but
complaints, but
nobody
nobody
listen no
listen
way,
no way,
right?
right? Right. And I'm cool with that. I'll complain to myself and just make some adjustments. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? How you feeling? You good? Everything's good? How's the fam and all that?
Fam is
Fam is
good.
good.
Everything's
Everything's
not
not
good,
good.
just
Just
processing
processing
these
these
budget
budget
cuts
cuts
that are
that are
happening
happening
in
in
the
the
world,
world,
and
and
especially
especially
for
for
us
us
in the
in the
field of
field of
social
social
services.
services. Mm-hmm.
So
So
bracing
bracing
myself
myself
for
for
a
a
potential
potential
layoff.
layoff. Oh no, that
Yeah.
seems to be a lot of that seems to be happening all around. Not like not just in that your field, but like just everywhere around. You. Like my co-host got laid off from her job. She'd been there I don't know how many years, and they just, ooh, it's bad. It's bad out here. But that's all you can do
Yeah,
is really brace yourself for it, and then make the
yeah.
necessary steps, changes, or whatever. I don't know. Shit, I don't know, man. I'm over here juggling about 99 goddamn things just to keep my head above water. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear what I was talking about self-awareness?
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
if you
want
want
to
to
give
give
me
me
the
the
run, I
run, I
saw
saw
self-awareness
self-awareness
and,
and
got to
got to
catch a
catch a
little bit
little bit
about,
about
when
yeah,
stuff happened.
I was going through a lot, all of these things about self-aware, the key aspects of self-awareness, understanding thoughts and feelings, recognizing strengths and weaknesses, understanding how
Mm-hmm.
others perceive you, self-reflection, mindfulness. I was just talking about mindfulness, paying attention to be in the moment without judgment. You know what I mean? And I was just really talking about how that was a big one for me. Well, all of them were big for me, but being in the moment, I think was even bigger. Like when I quit drinking and everything, because not just the flood of shit that I had held down and back and stuffed, but just being in the moment and like not, I don't know, just being aware of what was being said to me and around me and everything else kind of really fucked me up, because it went back to like how people perceived me, and things that were being said were like waiting for my reaction and waiting for, for me to be some kind of way. And it's just the simple fact that me like really like understanding that I was not in the moment, and then how I was responding before in the past, being able to reflect on that shit, that shit just really fucked me up. But I'm very mindful of it nowadays. Being in the moment and allowing me myself to a moment to process things before I make those knee jerk reactions. Have those
I
knee jerk
mean,
reactions.
yeah, I was, because you got to be, and I was just when I was looking down, I was looking at my, my guide book, and when I do these things, if I do lay off, if I do get laid off, I'm taking this shit with me. I ain't getting this back. Like, but my concern,
Keep that shit,
man,
man.
for real. But there's a part of, because it was actually right on there. Like I'm in the process of like organizing like comic books and stuff, and I had my workbook on that, and it was actually on like the what you were talking about, like the self-awareness. And one thing that it says, like you got to be in self-aware. Once you're self-aware, a big thing is you will have common cognitive disorders if you're not viewing your self-awareness, I won't say like you have common cognitive disorders, like depending on how you interpret those things,
Right.
whether that be labeling and emotional reasoning and all of that type of stuff. And we all do this. We all do this. This ain't nothing like we're special. We all have these things, and just looking at you know strategy, for clear thinking and effective problem solving. So it's just looking at that, um, uh, active deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, like pausing, stopping to think, self-assess to identify the distortion, examine, you know, um, size of the problem, the survey method, and change the story method, cost of benefit, all of these things, man. It's there's a lot that goes into like self-awareness.
Mm. Yeah, there's a lot. And like even when I was reading this earlier, like just just realizing how much further I need to go. Uh but I'm cool with it. I'm cool with a lot of it, man. Like I had some issue with one of my sons, and let me ask you this question real quick. So
Yeah.
they did something, I'm not going to say what it was, but I thought it was super disrespectful. I felt like it was super
For
disrespectful.
multiple, for multiple,
Yeah,
like the sons or one son.
one. And
Okay,
and
so
I
he
ju-
did something.
yeah. So and I had just had a conversation with the both of them the night before. Like all of this stuff that we're talking about right now, and how I needed them to be my sons. I needed them to be in the moment with me constantly. I needed them to understand where I come from, where I'm coming from, and also from the standpoint of being a father. Like I'm not your buddy. You know what I mean. I'm not one of your guys you hang out with and stuff like that. And because I think I needed to, I felt like I needed to draw that line of understanding between the two of them and what was expected as far as them being young men. You know what I mean, and me being their father. And there's levels of self-respect and respecting the home and all of these things that had a really deep, and I thought, dope ass conversation. And as young men, I asked them to give me their word that X X Y Z, they were going to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, not even the next day. The next day, so one of them does something that was extremely disrespectful to me, to our home, to everything, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when it happened, when it happened in that moment, I just said, my thoughts immediately was I had a knee jerk reaction. I was like, "What the fuck? Are you fucking serious?" And I caught myself. I just said, let me just walk away right quick. So I did. So I said to him later on that evening, as I was walking past, I said, "We need to have a conversation later." And I left it. So I walk off and I go and I'm doing something, and I had some people in the studio. Here he comes, like about 20 minutes later. "Oh, you want to talk?" And I'm looking around, I had people here. And I'm like, no, not at the moment, "Oh, you sure? Man, you said you wanted to talk." And I'm like, "Dude, do you really want to do this right now?" And I'm looking around. I'm like, do you? He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, do you think this is appropriate right now?" And I wasn't yelling it to him. I'm just looking at him. I'm saying, "Do you think this is appropriate right now?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I said to him again, "Are you sure you want to do this right now?" And of course, his dumbass said yes. So I obliged him. And he did not like what he heard. He didn't like what he heard because he wasn't being accountable for it. He thought that an apology, and I get the apology is one thing, but that's not the end to all ends. You know what I'm saying? That's not, I accept the apology, but that doesn't take away from what you did. And it also doesn't take away from the conversation that we had prior. It doesn't take away from um, the commitment that you swore on every damn thing on the planet that you would be mindful of. And, you know, I didn't like it. And it hurt my feelings. And I felt um, an extreme amount of disappointment. Now, mind you, as I'm telling him this, he starts getting elevated and overly defensive. And in my mind, I'm like, you got a lot of motherfucking nerve to be defensive.
Like
Because, like
father,
father,
like
like
son.
son. Well, no, no, no. I'll take what's given to me. You know what I'm saying?
Now.
Now I didn't before, and I had a really tough time with it before, so I understand it. I get it.
Yeah. Like
So
father,
father,
like
like
son. He
son.
has
He
a
has a
tough
tough
time with
time
it.
with
Yeah.
it. Yeah. No, it's cool, but so he's getting elevated, whatever, and he doesn't want. Now he's just telling me this conversation is over, and I'm like, this conversation is not over until I say so. Let's be real clear where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real clear what you asked for, and let's be real clear where you're at. So he walks up. "I ain't got time for this." So, see, you're gonna make time for this until you understand what I'm saying to you, or I get the. Oh, not. I'm not. Not. Let me rephrase that. I said to him, until I am able to explain to you really quickly the point I'm trying to make, because it's the action. I care about what you did, and it's really bothersome to me. But the reasoning why it's upsetting, you need to hear this, is why it's so upsetting to me. And once I got that off, I was cool. I had to follow his ass upstairs, but I got it off, and I was cool. I walked off. I left it. He was still, in his whatever in the fuck he was in. So I came downstairs, did a little reflection. Oh man, I don't know if I handled that correctly. I don't think I could have handled that a hell of a lot better. So about 20 minutes later, I went and I apologized to him for, you know, my part in it, and I should have had better judgment on that whole situation. I should have told him just period. We'll talk about it later, and probably not probably should have been more clear of why we need to talk about it later, and then apologize for getting elevated right along with him.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, well, not necessarily a problem, because then after that, I did some more reflecting on it, like the next day, because this happened a couple of days ago, and then the day after. So I had to talk with him again today. And I had told myself that I need to take better steps in how I communicate. So we had another talk today, and I kept my tone, kept my mind right. But I did tell him something. I said, I feel pretty fucked up, because I do feel like I don't need to give him an apology for shit. I'm not the one who did it. I'm not the one who did all that. I'll take responsibility for being elevated, but I'm not sorry for what the fuck I did. I'm not, and I won't be. Um, that may sound crazy, but I just don't feel like, I told him, I said, I don't, and I told him very, very calmly, I said, I'm really fucked up right now because I don't feel like I owed you an apology for anything. And I said, I understand that I could have been better at demonstrating some.
So,
So,
Tom,
Tom,
why
why
did you
did you
apologize
apologize
in that
in that
moment?
moment? Yeah, that's something that I thought about, because I apologized in that moment because I felt like I embarrassed him.
So you
So you
apologize for
apologize for
embarrassing
embarrassing
him.
him? No, I apologized for my behavior. No, I didn't say my behavior. I said I told him that I apologized for you know raising my voice, and well, I want to make sure I'm saying exactly what I said. So raising my voice, and what did I say? Um, Fuck, I don't remember. But it had to do with me getting elevated right along with
Right.
it. Right.
And
Yeah. And
you
you
just
just
said
said
you
you
apologize,
apologize,
for
for
embarrassing
embarrassing
him
him,
though.
though.
That was
That was
why you
why you
apologized,
apologized,
right?
right? Well, I didn't tell him that, but that
But
was one
that's
of the reasons.
why
Why
you
you
apologize.
apologize? Yeah, because there was people here, and I felt there was some embarrassment like that. Yeah, but
But you
but you
did
did
embarrass him.
embarrass him. I don't know. I'm sure I did. But at the
Okay.
same on that same note, I don't. It's really it's not that goddamn complicated, but it just, for me, it feels like, you know, I I literally sat there and was like, dude, you don't do this right now. And he pushed the issue. So I was like, all right, well, fuck it. If this is how what you want to do, well then fuck it. So there's a part of that in my mind that says, well, I don't, fuck, if you was embarrassed, well then you shouldn't there's people right there. Like, what the
Well,
issue is.
but
But
see,
see,
that's
that's
where
where
it's
it's,
I
I
don't
don't
know
know what the
what the
Well, I'll tell you.
young.
He got out of his fucking truck and pissed on the side of the house, in front of the house, in broad daylight. We have in a very nice neighborhood,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
I've
been.
been. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And the bathroom is literally 20 steps in the house. And his whole thing was, I just got through driving an hour to get home. And I'm like, but I told him, even when we were talking, I was like, but you drove by probably like 1,000 gas stations and everything else. You could have if you had to go that bad. Why didn't you just pull your truck around in the alley? Something, anything, but in front of our home, where we have neighbors that are. We've been here 7 years, and they're just barely warming up to us. You know what I mean? And you're doing what the fuck? Not to mention the conversation that was had the night before. To me, there was just no excuse for it. Like, who does that?
I'm
I'm
okay.
okay.
Let me
Let me
take
take
myself out
myself
of it
out of
because
it
I'm
because I'm
biased. I
biased.
got,
I
I got
got
Right.
multiple
multiple
sclerosis.
sclerosis.
So
So
when I
when I
gotta
gotta
go, I
go, I
gotta
gotta
go.
go.
But I asked him. I said, before when we, ooh, that's a good look. So before the conversation and the pissing on the side of the house came up, I asked him. I said, because he was making all these excuses. I said, well, before we go any further, is there a health issue that we should be concerned about? Do you have bladder issues? Is there something? He's like, no, well, just when I got to pee, I just got to pee. I was like, that's not really what I'm asking you. Do we need to take you to the doctor? Do we need to find out if there's bladder issues? Do we, I addressed that shit.
I
I
mean,
mean,
he
he
might
might
not
not
know.
know.
He might
He
not
might
have
not have
anything.
anything.
He
He
like
like
if we
if we
go
go
with
with
benefit of
benefit of
doubt,
doubt,
let's say
let's
he
say he
doesn't have
doesn't have
anything and he
anything,
was
and he was
just
just
driving
driving
for an
for an
hour and
hour
just
and just
wanted
wanted
to
to
hurry up and
hurry up
get
and get
home and
home and
got
got
home.
home.
And
And
I don't
I
want to
don't want to
speak
speak
for him.
for him.
I'm
And I'm
not
not
speaking for
speaking
him.
for him.
You're
You're
totally
totally
just
just
and
and
like,
like,
hey
hey
man,
man,
don't be
don't be
pissing on
pissing
the
on the
side of the
side of the
house.
house.
You know what I'm
Now,
saying?
mind you, he was, I only say the side of the house because he was like on the side of the house, but he was in the front of the fucking house. In the front. There's a whole park across the street. There's kids. There's shit. You know what I mean? Like what in the entire fuck? And I ain't saying that we're the like fucking Mr. Rogers over here or nothing, but come on now, we're respectable people. You know what I mean? And this isn't the first time that he's done things like this, and I've been on him and been on him, but you know, I don't know, man. It's those small things, those decisions that you're making, like in that moment, man, not so good. And to me, it's all about this decision making process. You know what I mean? Because
But
all those.
so
So
okay,
okay,
and
and
was
was
you was
you was
wrong.
wrong.
Like
Like
regardless
regardless
of
of
if
if
he
he
had to
had to
go,
go,
and
and
I guess
I
that's
guess that's
better
better
than
than
peeing on
peeing on
himself
himself
in
in
the truck.
truck.
Like
Like
there's so
there's so
much
much
accountability
accountability
for
for
him
him
leading up
leading
to
up
that
to that
point.
point.
But
But you
boom,
boom,
and then
and
he
then he
really
really
wanted
wanted
to
to
have the
have the
conversation
conversation
with
with
you.
you.
Um,
Um,
and
and
you
you
know,
know,
I
I
guess you
guess
let
you
him
let him
have it.
have it.
You know
You
what
know
I'm
what I'm
saying?
saying?
Like I can
Well,
only
also
assume.
to be fair with myself, I told them from the night before, and I had been telling them because I've been really being mindful about a lot of things around the house. So, with that being said, I told both of them and had been telling them, but this time the line had been drawn. That like, yo, if you do something that is not for the benefit of this fucking home and everything else, I am going to make sure you understand what you did. And if you can't make those adjustments, then you're going to have to find somewhere else to live. Because that tells me that you do not respect this home, you do not respect anybody in it, and you don't respect me. And we're not doing that anymore. No more. Period. So with that being said, and I'm telling them, like, I'm looking at both of them dead in their eyes, like, if this is something you feel like you can't do, you need to let me know now. Because none of
So
this
these
shit.
are new
New
boundaries,
boundaries,
right?
right?
Yes, absolutely. But they're not new. The only difference is that I'm standing on them now instead of bending anymore. Because all this bending has gotten things out of control. And I have been telling them over
So
and over and
then
over again that I'm fed up. I'm fed up.
so
I'm
then
fed up.
those are new
Those are new
boundaries.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
Like I
Well,
they've
mean,
hey,
they've
heard
peeing
heard
on
these
the
these
side of the
rules
house,
rules,
and
that
they
was never acceptable. That's never
huh?
been acceptable. Peeing on the side of the house has never been acceptable.
I'm a
I'm a
notorious
notorious
peeing on the
peeing on the
side of
side
the
of the
house
house
person.
Well, that's never been acceptable. But,
It's
It's
not,
not,
you
right.
you
know.
know.
I
I
but
but
I've
I've
had a
had a
place
place
like
like
I'm
I'm
so
so
spoiled to have two bathrooms now.
Man, we
Cause
got 3 in this house.
like I was always a one bathroom cat and having a family and all that stuff in with one bathroom. Like so, I was like, man, I am notoriously going on the side of the house, and
But
it's like, you know,
these are adults. These are not
I was an
children.
adult.
Okay.
I'm
Now,
like,
you know what the tipping point was? Let me tell you the tipping point was. I don't mean to cut you, but
I'm
literally
not
this.
making no excuses for him too.
No,
By the way,
no.
I'm not.
But listen. So I'm in the studio one day, right? And sometimes people give me weed. Sometimes they leave it. So I just put it away because.
Oh, you told me about this, yeah.
And he was just like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know it was wrong. And then he just kind of left it at that and just walked off like, okay, everything's cool. And I kind of left that alone. I should have stopped him and said something else, but I left it alone. Now, did I tell you about the bullet, the fucking holes in the garage door?
No.
So before that, now mind you, neither one of them knew that I knew about it. So I had bought this projection TV thing to put it in the garage for them with the screen and everything, so they could have a place to go smoke and then play video games, whatever. Just not fucking do it in the house because my grandson is here. So
Yeah.
I go in there, I'm putting the shit together and putting it up in the garage, getting the garage all straightened up. And I go to put the screen up next to the garage, and there's about 48 holes in the garage door. I have this like 22 caliber pellet gun. This for like small game. This old house we used to live in had rats, so I used to be like sniper in those motherfuckers. Now we got like squirrel crazy problems, so I use it to shoot squirrels. Anyways, these dummies were in the garage, target practice against the fucking garage door. There's like 40 something holes in the garage. And they didn't know that I knew about it because I didn't say anything about it. I was going to choose my time, which I did when I sat outside and spoke to them for like 2 hours, and we had a great conversation. But my younger son was the first one that I told. I didn't tell the other one until today when I had that conversation with him about not apologizing. And he played like he didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Holes in the garage, huh? And my other son was sitting here. He's like, "Yeah, man. When we were shooting the pellet gun in the garage, he's like, we did." And he's like, "Come on, man." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that." And I'm like, we had spent $3,000 on this fucking garage. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, on the garage door. You know what I mean? So like, it's not just the pissing of the side of the house and everything. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And this is why I felt the need so strongly to have this conversation with him, because I've said this shit. I've said this shit. I've said this shit. I've said this shit, and they didn't listen. And even like even within the studio, they're not even allowed in here unless they're doing a podcast. They're not even allowed in here because I told them enough's enough with their mess, with the blunt shit everywhere and all that shit. And at first they were like, "What you mean we can't be in there?" I said, "Man, no." Now when I tell them to get out, well, they don't even really come in here anymore like that. But if they if they come in here, they say something and then they leave, But the first couple of times of me telling them, like, coming in here and they're sitting in here just feet kicked up and everything, smoking and shit, and I'm like, what are you doing? Get out! You need to leave. Oh, well, we're working on something. No, you're not. You're sitting here smoking weed and fucking doing whatever. And I had asked you guys already, and I'm not going to ask you anymore. Don't be in here if you're not doing a fucking podcast. Period. They don't do that shit anymore, but yeah. But it's shit like that. But whatever, man. I'm working on it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean,
It's a lot for me. It's a lot for me to keep my cool and to keep myself from japping the fuck out. The old me would have japped the fuck out. The old me would have been like, "So what are we doing? We taking it outside? Going to go in the backyard? Something? What?" But I know that's not going to help anything. That's not going to do shit.
Yeah, man.
Having a heart to heart conversation, a real conversation with substance, and and just helping them to understand where I'm from, where I'm coming from, where they should be working, what they should be working on within themselves. You know what I mean? To be more mindful, to have some critical thinking, so to, shit like that. But I, also told them that I'm here for them. You know what I mean? And I do whatever for them, and that my love is for them is not faltered or anything. Just because I tell you something to do something doesn't mean I don't love you, and doesn't mean I don't give a shit about you or I hate you or
This is what are the ages again?
26 and 31.
So they just
Mind you, that no, I don't even want to say it, but
but they and regardless of the age, some people would be like, "Oh, well, that's grown as hell." Not, I wouldn't even do that or say that because it's really about what you know, like you know what I'm saying, and your experience in that, man. Like they're just growing, man. They're growing, and you know,
you
it's
know, within that conversation that we had,
yeah.
I also took some accountability and was like, I apologized to both of them for not really being there for them in their moments of need, or even when I felt like they needed something or whatever in the fuck, because I wasn't really truly there in the moment with them to even understand, uh, how I was
So yeah,
behaving. You know what I mean? Like right now, I told both of them, and I didn't say anything to them because they both gave me their word. I told them that until further notice, they need to sit in on the check-in every Sunday at 8:30. They both gave me their fucking honest God fucking word and everything else. And 8:30 rolled around. You see, the chairs are empty. But I will say something to them. But I'm not pissed off about it or anything like that. I'm just like, again, this is what I'm talking about. That's all I'm gonna say. Again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Accountability, man, being responsible. You know, it's not for me. I told both of them it's not for me. This is for you. This is for you guys. This is for you. You guys need to be better for yourself.
I would argue it's for all of y'all.
Yeah, that too. I said that too. That's why I told them I
So it's
need that.
for
Yeah,
you as well as them.
yeah.
And I think that's a step
Hmm.
in that direction,
Yeah, I agree.
and and this isn't deflecting any of their like BS or any of that, or even any of yours. It's just like
My BS.
it's no, for real. It's just the progression, and it's
Yeah.
identifying, like, for me, like I say, I'm a hugger, man. I'm on the hug model, and not just like, oh, it's like on some, I acknowledge, I embrace, so I can let it go.
Right.
And that is so easier said than done. And
Man.
like, just even acknowledging is difficult. And and like having a calmer voice and like demeanor. Like I think about, like, I forgot what we were talking about in the last check-in that I was on, and like we had went around and it came back to where you had to be like, God damn it. All right, I'll be accountable. And it
Right.
was, and I was like, dang, man, I patted myself on the back, like, I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying there? And I'm happy for that, and for your growth. And like, dang, I'm actually good at this job. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh, you
Like
are definitely.
it sucks that, like we got these layoffs, man. These kids are gonna be pissed off tomorrow. Oh my God.
You think that the layoff is coming tomorrow?
It's they already started coming off, but like I believe like because they laid off the my female counterpart that's the counselor for the young women, and so she's right across from me, like her stuff, and I'm like,
Her
God
proximity ain't got
damn.
shit to do with the stability of your job.
I mean, you never know, man. When you talk about budget cuts and all of this type of
Right.
stuff, like the company asked the state to give them 5,000. Oh no, give them 7,000, and the state only gave them 5,000. So versus, so then they like, okay, we got to lay off X amount of people. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be hearing that for you know like for the like for the remainder of the week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like shit. And so you're on pins and needles, you know. And it look like I'm like, damn man, look like we're gonna have to take more of these road gigs. And I do not want to be on the road because I'm not like that, because I'm trying to be present for this little girl. So
Right.
I got, so it's difficult with that. But if it's like I don't know, and then you read about like dang and everything that happened with Job Corps, like they just like shutting Job Corps down. Like what the, I'm like what is going on in this world, man? So
Everything.
and like man, blessings and respect to Nas Vino, and I'll be straight for a while. Like if I get the axe, so I won't immediately be throwing a chair against the wall like James Evans. But it's not what you want to hear when people be like, man, why you got so many jobs? And it's like, cause of shit like this, you
Right.
know.
Yeah,
But
man. It's
yeah,
all the
man.
work.
So I'm getting ready for all of that tomorrow. I'm gonna
Well,
go in
may
with
not
Miss
happen.
Lila.
May not happen. Hope for the
God
best.
willing.
What is it? What is it? Pray for the best and prepare for the worst, or something like that.
Yep. Nothing we can do. That's all we can do. Because I'm not in control of that.
Yeah. And my
I,
dog
I,
needs to. She's bugging out. I told myself I was only going to do 30 minutes. She's over here staring dead at me right now. I know what
oh
that
man,
means.
stuff with your
Yeah, and I
dog.
got to eat, and I got to go yell at these idiots for not showing up. No, I'm not going to do that.
Just ask them why you didn't show up.
Yeah, yeah, that's all
And
I'm doing.
then then you know you evaluate their reasons in the next check-in.
Right on the next check-in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not
Excuse
at
me.
not at the
On the
not in the moment. I'll evaluate it and I'll just go okay, and then we'll talk about it on the next check-in. Oh, stop. But I don't know. I'll figure. Stop. She's over here hitting the chair like no, no. Oh, this motherfucking. All right. Any last words as we do?
oh man, just say a prayer and blessings to everybody that is going through this unfortunate time in the American economy where we're all like you know in fear about the the future, or even the present I should say,
Mm-hmm.
being self-aware, and remember to and in that self-awareness, make sure to have something for yourself. Take a moment before you gotta really progress. and hit the pavement. God bless to everyone.
Mm. Shout out to that. Yeah. Be prepared. Hit the pavement. Mm. I'm going to keep saying, as I always say, give yourself some grace and breathe. And today I'm going to say, not just give yourself grace and breathe, but reflect in the moment or reflect after, but reflect. With that being said, this has been the check-in. I appreciate you, D-Nick.
Bless.
Prayers to you, brother.
Yes,
It'll all be
sir.
fine. Positive energy.
Same to you, man.
My man's, man. And bless you and your family and your daughter, man. Love on that girl, man. And if everything else fails, you got more time to love on her.
Yeah. She's
My
funny.
man. All right, man. Peace.
Peace.